jam 12 lebih 30 menit waktu Indonesia Barat. Kita mau terbang dari Cengkareng ke Makassar, lanjut ke Jayapura bersama Bang Ipul.
Mantap. Akhirnya kebagian juga terbang sama YouTuber ke teman lama setelah hilang gitu.
Bang Saiful jago main PUBG.
Iya, kata dia nih ngajarin, kata Daniel ngajarin nih. Dia KD-nya 8 kalau nggak salah.
8 dulu 16. Tapi masih main?
Udah enggak. Kita fokus terbang sekarang ya.
Udah pensiun ya?
Sudah pensiun.
Ya, cuacanya cukup baik, perkiraannya cukup baik di perjalanan, di Makassar juga cukup bagus. Terus yang bakalan terbang jadi pilot flying itu Bang Ipul.
Mantap.
Saya akan jadi pilot monitoring. Nanti kita tukeran pas di ke Jayapura. Ya, saya akan terbang. Kemudian flight level itu kemungkinan 35.000 kaki.
Continue towing via November Papa Whiskey remote 55. Okay, continue towing November Papa Whiskey remote 55. Radio standby. Joseph Papa Nabayan rolling traffic. Nabayan rolling traffic Indonesia 654.
Hey, Girox.
Cek.
November 8 standby, check your traffic.
V1.
Rotate.
Oke.
661 and a 6 sequence taxi. This is one of the November 26 November Papa. Check on the 6 November Papa 2,
400. 3 minimums. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reversal slow. Halo guys, kita udah sampai di Makassar ya. Oh ya.
Makassar jam 15 lokal time. Kita jam berapa?
Iya. Kita mau lanjut ke Jayapura. Jayapura. JT798 pesawatnya bagus. Lagi turunin penumpang. Habis itu kita boarding lagi. Penumpangnya penuh 200 orang.
And one heading south.
50 request taxi. Trugan 240 taxi via Apron, India, Whiskey Papa Hotel for traffic Garuda. India Whiskey Papa Hotel for traffic Garuda.
Ayo, jelas.
Sana dia.
V1.
Oke. Positive rate. Kira.
Indonesia 654, clear for taxi, line up runway 03, report ready. Clear for taxi, line up runway 03, report ready, Indonesia 654.
Ya, step.
Line Inter 708, airborne time 18, contact radar 1275, selamat pagi.
1275, flight Inter 708, selamat pagi Bapak, sehat selalu.
Amin, sama-sama Pak.
Visual ya Bu ya?
Cek.
Radar uniform Charlie Lima has Lion in sight visually on ILS.
Roger that. For you descend 3000, maintain visual.
Descend 3000, maintain visual, Charlie Lima.
Currently I will do the visual approach procedure runway 12. Jayapura has 2 runways for landing runway 30 and the other is runway 12. Runway 12 is definitely more difficult to approach and land than runway 30, which has an ILS approach procedure, or we call it precision approach. Maybe you are wondering why we have to use runway 12, which is clearly more difficult, while there is one runway that is easier. There are several factors, and one of the most important is the speed and direction of the wind as we approach. To increase safety and security, our company limits the tailwind or wind coming from behind to a maximum of 10 knots. Currently, the wind coming from the southeast is more than 10 knots. That's why we have to use runway 12. There are 2 types of approach that can be used to land on runway 12. Circling approach and visual approach. They both look the same but are actually different. Because at the airport briefing our company is advised to use a visual approach, so I will use a visual approach procedure. There are several requirements for a visual approach. One of which is that the pilot can see the airport and can maintain a visual reference to the terrain. Once we lose the runway or airport, or we lose visual contact with the terrain, we have to execute go around. This is a picture of the visual approach, visual traffic pattern procedure. At this point before entering the downwind I should at least have flaps 5. But this time I will configure the landing gear down and flaps 15 before entering the downwind. And it doesn't matter because it will give me a little time to think about what I'm going to do next. Honestly, this is my first time doing an approach runway 12 which is surrounded by high hills. A little nervous, but don't worry. As long as we carry out the procedure correctly, we will definitely be safe and secure. I'm going into downwind within 3 miles of the runway. At least not less than 2 miles. To increase my confidence, I will maintain 2,300 feet in the downwind. When a beam with runway in use, I will lower flaps 40 and use LNAV VNAV to follow the 3 degrees glide path. My target is runway extension 2.3 miles. If ideally 1 mile 300 feet means 2.3 miles equals 690 feet plus a runway elevation of 289 feet more or less, in the final I should be 979 feet. I will use autopilot until the final approach. Because according to the procedure I am allowed to use autopilot up to a minimum of 500 feet radio altimeter. And it really helps me to reduce my workload. But by continuing to monitor it, because anything can happen anytime and anywhere, and we must be ready to take over manually if things we don't want happen. I'm also still learning. Let me know if anything you think is wrong. Your feedback will be very helpful for me. Enjoy the rest of this video.
Traffic rolling.
Charlie Golf, runway 12 for Alpha, squawk 5067.
Minimums.
Continue.
712 via Alpha, uniform Charlie Golf.
Charlie Golf, sorry, clearance available.
Go ahead, clearance for uniform Charlie Golf.
Charlie Golf, clear to 100 mile, Juliet Papa Alpha, radio 111, level
Plus
2 067.
Clear to 100 miles, level 220-5067, uniform Charlie Golf.
Landing gear. Flap.
708 wind, 110 degrees, 9 knots, Kenneth 1012, runway 12, clear to land.
Runway 12, Kenneth 1012, clear to land, line for 700. Clear to land, keep music gear,
Contact 119.1.
Midnight 29, contact 1191. Good day, sir.
Hey,
Hotel uniform Charlie Lima, request descent.
Charlie 5, descend, circuit altitude.
Descent circuit, we got line and set visual Charlie.
Iya nih.
Ya di situ 837.
Ya, visual, check.
1000.
Okay,
Stabilize, continue.
check head 5, right and 9.
Ini 657 via taxi Bravo, for runway 12, hello.
1000.
Continue. Head 4, right 4. Approaching
Charlie 5, continue approach.
Continue approach, Charlie Lima.
Head 7, left 2.
500.
Continue. Current altitude check 4000, recycle flight director.
400.
Continue GP.
$300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse normal.
Climb into 798, limit time midnight 32 via taxiway Echo, November Papa, parking stand number 4.
Echo November Papa, stand number 4, enter 700, Papa Kilo 5 Sierra India with 205 POB.
Sentani Tawal, Sir Pacar.
Selamat, terima kasih.
Selamat.
Ini ya Eko ya.
Ego November Papa. After landing.
Cek, land procedure.
Papa Charlie 5, continue approach.
Apa Charlie 5?
Luar biasa. Number 2, Marcel Rinsan.
Sorry, Sentani Tower, wing somebody 1629.
Wing somebody 1629, Sentani.
Just number 5, Hotel 726, traffic kilo, is Hotel Zero information, Bravo, requesting start clearance from to Nigeria 16,000, fire radio 260.
Selamat datang di Sentani, Jayapura.
Runway heading.
Luar biasa, dari jam berapa kita nih?
Dari tengah malam
sampai jam
10 pagi.
10 local time Sentani plus 9 di sini.
Tadi kita runway 12 ya.
Wah, mantap.
Mantap.
First experience runway 12.
Pengalaman pertama ya, landing runway 12 Jayapura.
Boleh di komen gimana, ya kan? Runway 12 keren banget, pemandangannya indah sekali.
Full, thank you.
Siap, makasih banyak Captain Daniel.
Mantap lah.
Pengalamannya. Thank you semuanya.
Nah.
Enjoy the video.